Good morning, everybody. Hey, Alex and Marie. The subject that we're drawing today belongs to Marie. It's her cat. His name is Ziggy. And I decided to put some stars in his eyes just to keep with the sort of galaxy theme that I had last week. I'm just having a few bites of fruit real quick while everybody gets on. Am I really looking tired? That's no good. I do feel like I'm waking up. Hey, Clinton. It's good to hear about some other faces that are on here. I know that there's a few people that would watch the videos, but they never say hello. So say hello. Oh, it's your first time. Welcome, Clinton. I hope I'm not being rude, but I do find if I eat some fruit, then my energy levels are much better. Especially because I went to bed a bit late last night. So I only got about 4 hours sleeping. Which I think is still a lot for most. Okay, before we start, does anyone have any questions? Okay, one more bite. I'll probably still keep nibbling on the fruit. The bowl I have here is pretty huge. And then I also have my giant cup of coffee. Nice strong black coffee. No questions. Okay, so the supplies that we're going to be using today, we're just using our pencils and our solvents. We're not going to be using any pan pastels or anything, so we're going to keep it nice and simple. And yeah, so this is Ziggy. Let me zoom out a little bit. So this is the cat that we'll be drawing today, and I'm sure a lot of you are quite curious to see how we're going to draw this, because you guys might not necessarily know how to approach such a drawing, because it's like two images merged into one, and you can see sort of reflections of the stars and that coming through the white fur and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to show you a good approach as to how to draw it, and how to try and switch your mind off of what you're actually drawing and just focus on small fractions of the part of the drawing that you're doing at the time, so that you're just focusing on color. You're focusing, you deciding on a section, you're deciding on the colors, and we'll use our swatches, and then you are just focusing on that section without even thinking that it's an animal. Pretend that this is not an animal. This is just a smudge of a bunch of colors, and that's what we're putting together. So we'll have our swatches today. We'll use both, and then we can use these to compare the colors to the reference, and then yeah, we can start arranging our colors and putting them together. I'm going to start off with sketching this, because a couple of you have said that you have trouble with sketching or trying to find the process of how to get your outline out on the drawing. For those that want to practice sketching or freehanding, I know a lot of the time I do transfer the image onto the drawing paper to save time, but many of you have asked to actually see the process of trying to get your sketch or your outline done. So this one I think should be pretty easy, because the main things that you need to do is you just need to place the eyes roughly in the right place. It's not going to be a disaster if it's a few millimeters further than what it should be, or higher or lower. As long as you can sort of get the placement of the eyes right, and then put the nose in the right position, everything is pretty well placed. So it should be easy for us to find out where to put our little markers with a pencil to pinpoint exactly where something belongs. So we'll go through the whole sketching and outline process first up, and then we will start with the coloring process. So I am using my Prismacolor Premier pencils and my Polychromos pencils. I'm using Zested solvent. You do not have to use the same solvent. You can use any solvent that you want. You can use Gamsol. You can use any odorless spirits, Mona Lisa odorless spirits. But I think those in the UK can get their hands on Zested. I mean, Zested comes from the UK, so of course you would. But everybody else, Gamsol is probably the easiest and the cheapest. And but any odorless spirits will do. I used to use Art Spectrum odorless spirit solvent, and that worked great as well. So whichever product you can get your hands on. I haven't really tested a whole bunch of different solvents, so I can't say for sure which is going to be the best or anything like that. It might be something that I'll do in the future in a tips and tricks video. So we will have a look at that. Okay, so let's get into the sketching process of this, and then we can carry on from there. So you can download your reference from Patreon. Sorry. And Patreon, they have this new thing where you can, so they have a beta version of streaming on Patreon, and I thought that the beta version said that you could comment or have a chat feed on Patreon, but it doesn't look like it. So I'm looking at the live feed right now from Patreon, and it just looks like YouTube. So I'll find out about it, because it'd be cool if Patreon allows you to have a chat within there with the live stream. Alex is asking, did you try the citrus free Zested? I thought that's what Zested was, just all citrus. I don't have the bottle in front of me. I didn't know they had a citrus free one. I quite like the citrusy smell, so I'm not too fussed about it. Okay, I need I'm gonna need a pencil if I'm gonna do this. I got Okay, so I just have a Staedtler mechanical pencil. It's a 0.5mm pencil, and I think I've got 2B lead in here. Right. So the reference that we're using, I better remember to record this on my other camera. Alex says that the citrus-free version of Zest that doesn't smell as strong. It's a new version. Oh, cool. I have so much Zested that I don't really require any new bottles anytime soon. Okay, looking at my reference, I'm gonna have to do it this way. So you can see that the eyes are in a slight angle, not too much of an angle. So if you're going to draw a straight line on, so not quite the middle, but a little bit above the middle, if you roughly sketch a straight line, you're going to go through the nose, you're going to go through the middle of this eye, and you're going to go to the bottom of this eye. So that's what a straight line is going to get you. So just try and roughly find a little more than a third of your section of the page down. We're just going to sketch out a straight line. So if you want to, you could even be like, this is the bottom, this is the middle, this is the top, and then it's a bit above the middle where we're going to roughly sketch out a straight line. So put those points on this side as well, and then we know it's going to end about there. So it's all about observing, just observing. Okay, so that's our straight line. That line is going through the middle of this eye to the bottom of this snout to the bottom of this eye over here. And then I want to find this angle over here, which is going to run through the middle of the snout and the cute little lips over here. So the angle is a bit like this. So if I can keep that angle right here, on top of my page, so my drawing is pretty much the size of the iPad. So I'll put a little marker on here and a little marker over here. And then from that, I can find my angle. So really when you're just trying to pinpoint certain things to help you find exactly which areas you're looking for. So now we've got a line that goes right through the middle of the snout to the top of the forehead here, and we've got a line that goes through the middle of the eye into the snout and at the bottom of this eye. Yep. And then we've got this triangle over here, really. So we want to put that triangle in here. So let's go ahead again. So the top of this triangle, put a mark on your paper, follow it through to here, put another mark on your paper, and then you can follow that along. And then we're going to do the same for the other side. So we've got this triangle. So we want this to find this line here, which is going to go through the top of the head here. So again, we can just mark the top. So if you have this on a piece of paper, it will work the same. So where do I put that mark there? Going down to here. And then I'm going to find that line. Okay, so I have a line over here. I know you guys can barely see that, but I can't make my lines too dark. So we have a line across over here, a line down here, and down here. And those are our most important lines. So we've already formulated this triangle of the snout. We formulated the line that goes through the snout and the line of going through the middle of the eyes, through the snout, and at the bottom of this eye. Now all we have to do is find out where the middle of the pupils of the eyes are, and then we should be able to do the rest. So to do that, let's see. I might actually draw the snout first, and then it will give me a good indication of where to place this eye. And once I've placed this eye, it will give me a good indication of how to place this eye. So let's do the snout. So we know that this line is going to go to the bottom of the eye. And this is the side, the triangle on the side of the snout. Okay. Stop me if you guys need me to go slower, or if you guys need to repeat me. If I need to repeat myself. Okay. So this is going to be the bottom of the eye, and I know that this is going to be the top of the snout area. So I'm just going to sketch a little sort of curve over here. And then for the forehead, I can see the little fluffy hairs over here. I can do the same. This section here is going through the middle of the eye. I wish, let me see, I can probably show you a bit more than that. So this section here is going through the middle of the eye, and if I look at my reference from where the middle of the eye is, I want to figure out this triangular part of the snout. So I'm just going to follow that down. Okay. And then this side part of the snout is also a bit rounded, so I'm just going to make this a little more rounded. And then I know that this is the center of the snout. That's the bottom of the eye. So right here is where I'm going to have the left nostril. I'm going to go across. This is the center of the snout. So it's handy when you're doing this, whatever reference you have, whether it's your iPad like this or if it's a piece of paper, try and have it the same size as what you're drawing, because if you're going to compare directly to your drawing, you're going to be drawing in the same size. So if you've got a piece of paper that is only this small as a reference, but you're drawing it this big, you're going to get the proportions wrong because you're not seeing the size that you need to be drawing. So if you're drawing from the same size reference onto the same size paper, then you will find it a lot easier to get your reference down. So we will be doing a lot of tweaking, but feel free if you're not comfortable with this, or you feel I'm going too fast. Although I would recommend that you experiment with this, or if you would like to, you could trace and transfer the image on a piece of paper, a scrap piece of paper, 2 or 3 times, and then try and freehand it, because then your brain would have already become familiar with the exact proportions of tracing. So yeah, just keep that in mind. When it comes to human portraits, this takes a lot of practice, and I still never get it right. I never get the proportions completely right when I'm doing this for human portraits. So I never freehand for human portraits. I always transfer. But for animals, you could get it wrong. You could get features slightly wrong, and it will still look like the animal. It will still look like a cat or a dog, but it may not look exactly like the one that you drawing in your reference. So if this was a commission and I wanted to get Ziggy 100% right, I would transfer the image. I wouldn't be doing this. I'll even I might compare all the differences in the end, so you can see how different mine will be from the actual reference. And then with you guys being able to see that, you guys can decide if it's worth freehanding the outline, or if you're better off tracing it. Okay, so this curve is a little more, it's actually a lot closer to the snout, that curve there. And I'm just focusing on the bottom. Okay, so now I want to fix the snout properly before I do the eye, because I will probably get the proportion of the eye wrong if I don't get this curve done properly. You can see that this section of the snout, the curve sort of follows it along like that. That's better. Maybe not as extreme a curve. Yes, that's better. So with the nose, I want to try and get it closer and do some tweaking on the snout. The closer you have the reference, the easier it is for you to also notice things and notice if you're getting your shapes right and your angles. I will be erasing a lot of these lines because it would be way too dark for that very light pink snout. Okay, I'm quite happy with how I did the triangular shape here at the top. Okay, now I feel like I can start getting this eye in proportion. So I can see where the nostril is. I can see that just in the dip of this curve over here, there's this line. It sort of curves a little bit over here and then goes round into the eye there. So I'll slowly create that curve, which is going to this line, which we know is the bottom of the eye. And then this is also almost like a triangle. So notice that line over there. And then this goes to the top of the eye, is almost going to the center of that dip there. Okay, so that's getting there. Now we're going to move on to the next eye. So now that's made it a bit easier for us to look at our reference and sort of work out where excuse me, where the next eye is going to be. So if I look at my reference, I can see that this point of the eye is almost directly next to the snout over here, maybe a smidge higher. And about that far. And the edge of the eye over here is ending on the side of the paper, so it's not going to be completely rounded there. I think I made it too close. Okay, so now I'm just going to look very carefully at my proportions. Alex says that her cat's sitting on her knees and is watching with her. It's cute. Both my girls are lying on a beanbag just in the room next door. They really snuggle right into the middle of a beanbag. Okay, so now if you put your reference nice and close, then you can try and have a look at your proportions. My iPad will be very reflective, so try and look at your own reference instead of mine. Okay, I think I'm quite happy with that. So the coloring in process will sort out the rest now. So I'm just going to lighten all of that up now, so that the graphite doesn't come through, and then we can start with a color. So that's the sort of the process that I take. I try and find a way to find my lines or to find specific areas, and then I sort of go from there. So this eye here, I'm wondering if I made it too oval. It's a little more rounded. Yeah, the eye almost comes out. While I'm lightening my lines up, I might just make them look a little bit more structured as well. I'm going to erase those grid lines that I created. Hey Clinton, I've got a light box and I find that I just do not see enough with the light box. It's almost like it's so bright that the brightness covers your gray tones. So you sort of need really strong black lines for it to come through clearly as you're tracing it onto your paper. So I would suggest tracing paper is the best way to go, or just print it on the most common method I use is I print it on normal regular printing paper. I color the back end with graphite, and then I use a sharp pencil or an etching tool to sort of draw it onto my drawing paper over the print that just the regular paper print that I created. And then I do use a projector if I'm doing really big projects, but I most commonly do about this size just because of time. Okay, doesn't that look semi-decent? Ah, cool. Marie's got a light box with 3 separate light settings. Mine's only got 1 light setting, so I don't know. How do you find your light box, Marie? Is it easy to trace from? Okay, let's find some colors and do these eyes. I'm really excited about doing these eyes. So, you can use your color swatches. For those that are new, like Clinton, I do have these swatches available on my Patreon for free, so you can download them and color them in. I've got them for the Polychromos pencils and the Faber-Castell Polychromos or the Prismacolor pencils, and I also have blank ones, and you can just write your own pencil numbers on there when you do the blank ones, and I also have instructions as to how to do that. Why is my camera doing that? Okay. Rightio, so I'm going to use my swatches to find some of these beautiful colors in the eyes. So starting off with my Polychromos swatch set. These are fading. They're starting to rub off. I probably should have sprayed it with a final fixative or something. I really don't want to redo them. Rightio, so let's go dark cadmium orange and cadmium orange. So dark cadmium orange number 115 and cadmium orange 111. And let's go dark chrome yellow number 109. For the red, Mortoon M cadmium red. I think that's Mortoon. I think it's this one. Kaput Mortoon Violet. No. It's supposed to be Mortoon Red. M cadmium red. Middle cadmium red 217. Gosh, I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay, I'm happy with that. I better look at these. These have some nice brown tones in them. have a bit of burnt umber. And burnt sienna, number 283. And then I'll have my black, and I will use my brighter colors with my wax-based pencils because Prismacolors are more pigmented. So when it comes to the real bright highlighted colors, I tend to go for my Prismacolors. So I'm going to look for a nice orange, number 1002. Which is yellowed orange, PC 1002, which works great for that side as well. Ooh, 1033. I sharpened the wrong end of this pencil, but it's burnt ochre. We'll just go with that. And I will still add a yellow, maybe 1003. So the Spanish orange, 1003, which is that one. So we're going to use those colors for the eyes, and then we'll just start off with them for now. Hey Margine. Alex is like, the swatches fade. I don't want to do the swatches again. I think because you're constantly rubbing your fingers against them, eventually it's gonna fade. But I haven't sprayed it with like a final fixative or anything. If you just spray it with a final fixative and then spray it with an archival what's it called, varnish, an archival varnish, then it should be good. And go for the matte archival varnish, because then it won't make it glossy and the color shouldn't change much. If you're going to laminate it, the color will change, so don't laminate it. And it's very reflective, so it could confuse you as well. Clinton is busy doing his swatches at the moment. And then don't laminate them, Clinton. Just see if you can get a finishing varnish spray instead. Marie says, I found a fantastic art app where you can get an outline of your photo to trace or color pick tool, which matches up with polychromos. I use it on my mobile. Ooh, what's it called? Arty. It's called Arty. And it's free. Let's see that app. Arty. Is it that app? Marie? Artie? Let's see what it does. So choose an image. What just happened? Ooh, you can put a grid on it. Oh, that is so cool. Look at that. So you could put a grid on it. Or... there's your color picker. Oh, look at that. That is so cool. So that tells you the color pencil to use. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Oh, that is so cool. Check this out, guys. This app is called Artsy. Artsy? And so I just put the cat in there, and then let's do the eyes. Let's see how I went with picking the colors for the eyes. Wow, there's so many oranges. We got dark cadmium orange. We got that one right. Oh, but the Kaput Motum, I did have that color right. That is so cool. Oh, that is so much easier than using your swatches. What else does it do? You could use different filters. Okay, oh, look at that. So you could get your outlines. You could tweak it, I guess. Change the brightness, the contrast. That's so cool. What else? What a great little app. Thank you so much for suggesting that. That's wonderful. Oh no, let's go back to off. I don't know what I just did to the image. Anyways, that is so cool. That is a really, really cool app for finding colors. Thank you. So this is what I love about being able to do live streams like this and communicate with everybody, because you just get so much information that is so useful. Oh, great idea, Clinton. Let us know how you go with that. I'd appreciate it if you share that on Patreon. So Patreon, Clinton is going to do 2 swatches and test one and compare it with the laminated one to see how different the colors change if you laminate the swatches. Alex is going to use her spray immediately so that it doesn't rub off her swatches. Cool. Okay, now let's get into drawing. Well, we're almost an hour in already and we haven't done anything but the outline. But you got to take your time with the outline, and you got to be patient, and you just got to look for indicators of where your shapes are going to be and try and look for overall shapes like the triangle and pinpointing how we're going to place the eyes compared to the snout and stuff like that. Okay. So I'm going to start with the left eye. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a sharp black pencil. And I'm going to do the outer outline of the eye. Because it is pretty black, I'm not afraid to use my black pencil. And I'm going to define the eyelids. So that upper eyelid is very black, so I'm not afraid to sort of color it in. And then there's this sort of highlight, and then just underneath the eyelid is a shadow just on top of the eyeball. Yeah, it's such a cool app. Makes regular swatches look old school. Okay, so I'm putting that shadow on the bottom part of the eyeball, and then I'm going to define the bottom eyelid. Did you guys understand, okay, what the process that I went through in getting the sketch done of the outline? Did that help at all? See, so there's no one way of doing it because it's different for every reference. So you sort of just have to hone in your observing skills. You can change pencil brand on it. Sorry, I'm way too excited to... how do I get another image on here? Look! So you have your image, and then you click on the colors tab there, and then click on that, and you can change your pencil brand. Prismacolor. Oh my holiness. This is incredible. I love these people. Who are they? Who are the creators? What? There's no rating. Oh, there's one. Not enough ratings. Come on, we need to give this thing a good rating. That's great. So you can change your pencil brand, the 3 brands that we love anyways, so that's just perfect. That's great. That's great. Okay, back to the drawing. Do the pupil. Some little tufts of black fur here. Actually, this sort of thing you actually do last. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Okay. And then we can lightly create that shadow effect just under the eyelid here. Clinton, it has Prisma and Luminance. Oh my god. We are all geeks together. Incredible app. Yeah, it is. It is. Those are great little discoveries. I should maybe try and do a drawing where we just follow the app for colors, and then do a little review video on the app maybe, and then add that to the swatch template information, and then everybody's got a couple of options to try from. That is so cool. That's like the ultimate tip of the day, is finding that app. Thank you. So, Marie's cat and Marie's tip. Maybe we should dedicate our tips to Marie's tip of the week. Okay, so I'm feeling more and more satisfied with that eye the more I've started defining it now. And let's do the same for this eye as well, and then we'll get into coloring that one. Just define it more. So this eye, this area of the eye is very dark. Actually, this part of the eye almost does. I can't see the edge of the eye now. Why can I see the edge of the eye on my reference now? Oh. I cut it off with the way I was looking at it. Okay. So because the iPad sort of zooms in a little bit more if it's not exactly the same dimensions, I zoomed it in and didn't scroll to the right, so I couldn't see the curve in the eye over here. Let's fix that right now. I'll just change my border over here. Make it go a little bit further. Oh, gotta remember to record. There we go. How's that for? Quick solution. Now I can bring that curve up. Beautiful. Hey, I want to also thank you guys for helping incorporate the new changeover and sort of ideas to my Patreon channel. So thank you for answering the polls and sort of giving me an idea of what you guys want and how to change things so that we can get more students on Patreon. And I'm really, really excited for all these changes. I've already set up the whole month of November. I'm just waiting for a few more votes on what you guys want to see for the short tutorials. So next month's decision is between a black stallion, a black crow, or a black cat. And so far the poll is leading towards the crow. So I know that a few of you have wanted to see how to draw feathers and stuff like that. So maybe that's why the crow is the option. But I'm going to show you how to create a black and white image using colored pencils and not graphite or anything. So I'll show you some nifty tricks for that. And then of course, because we're doing feathers, we'll probably very likely use the etching tool, but we'll have to see. That's if the vote ends up being the crow. And I've already done a concept outline for the fantasy art piece, which looks amazing. I'm really excited to do that drawing. But yes, once we have the votes all up, I can put the calendar up, and then you guys will be able to see exactly what's coming up for the whole month. Now, this next month is going to be the most challenging month I have ever set up for myself, I think. But I am ready and I am motivated because I'll be live streaming a drawing like this every single morning during the week from Monday to Friday for the whole of November for the 25 Drawings of You competition. And then on top of that, I'm still going to do the short tutorials and the fantasy art piece that I have scheduled in as the normal Patreon reward tiers. So it's going to be crazy. Everyone's going to be sick of seeing my face in the live streams for a while because it's going to be every day. But yes, we'll do some fun quirky things, and we'll probably get a lot of portraits done as well because we've been so focused on animals that we haven't had the opportunity to really do portraits. And then I'll also experiment a bit more with the mixed media. So I'll probably use some pastels. Use pastels for the portraits. Or combination of pan pastels, and pencils and fixative. I'll show you exactly how I can mix my medias with just using fixative as a barrier. So that's gonna be exciting and scary, but it's gonna be a challenge, but a good one. I think it's really gonna test my abilities. So Alex says, I'm always afraid of tearing away the tape, so I use magnets to keep the paper on the board. Oh, that's cool. And you use a whiteboard so that you've got magnets that can stick to it. Or Alex, Clinton's asking, do you have a piece of metal underneath? Or it's a metal board, it's a metal whiteboard. Okay, well that's another way of doing it. You'll see that I've got blue tapes around the outer border and I've got this white tape around the inner border. This white tape is so low tack that if you leave it for a day, by the next morning it's already folded off the paper. So it's not as adhesive or as sticky as the blue tape, but the blue tape is really good to keep the edges down. You just have to tear it off really slowly. Okay, the nostrils are so light, I think I'm actually going to make them even lighter. Okay, now let's get into coloring in the eye. Oh my gosh, so yesterday we opened the aircon ducts and everything because far out, Australia's just gone from winter to an extremely hot summer overnight. It is so freaking hot already. And yesterday we were dying and we were like, we need to put the aircon back on. And it's, I don't know what it's called, what sort of air conditioning we have, but we've got the big thing on the roof where you put a cover over it over winter and then afterwards you take it off, or you just close it up. And then you close all the vents in the house. And then we have gas heating. So we have to swap between the two. They're not together. Anyways, so we had the aircon all sorted out. Before I carry on, I'm using burnt umber number 280, and I'm going to create the dark values on the bottom part of the eye. But so we opened the air conditioning. Vinny got on the roof. He cleaned the air conditioner and everything, wiped all the bugs away and the spiders and stuff. And we had spiders falling through the vents inside the house. It was horrible. There's got those big black ones. Ugh. So I have to, again today, I'm gonna just freaking vacuum this house from top to bottom and make sure no other spiders have fallen through. And then I walked into the stickiest spider web under one of the vents, and I just got so creeped out because I wasn't sure if it was on me or not. It was one that we got. I don't mind spiders as long as they're outside. I just don't want them in the house. But still, far out. Maybe I shouldn't say that because a lot of people are deterred from coming to Australia because of their poisonous spiders, and I don't think those big black ones are poisonous. They just look very intimidating and freaky. Vinny takes a paper towel and he throws it on the spider and he smacks it. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. He just he just smacks it flat. It's one of those, you gotta be in the moment. Anyways, we did end up with a cooler house. Yeah. I think next time I'm gonna try and find out if there's like sort of trays that you can hook up under the vents to catch any bugs for the first day or two before we take it off. I don't know, that was not a great experience. And you really I want to keep the spiders away because my dogs will just eat them. They don't know any different. They'll just be like, oh, yum. Marie says, sounds like arachnophobia. I need to see them. I don't want to feel like they might potentially be on me and I don't even know it. The mosquitoes are bad. I don't mind keeping them around as long as they're outside and they can kind of keep control of the mosquitoes. Oh, I'm using dark cadmium orange. Just by the way, number 115. No, luckily I did not dream of them. Thank goodness for that. Yeah. Animals have no sense of fear for things, and they're not afraid to put anything in their mouths. Especially honey. She'll eat any bug or plant. She'll just eat a plant. It can be any plant. Oh dear. Okay. Now I'm going to use a little bit of the Sienna, number 283. So I'm always using a light hand. I don't use pressure. I know you can see the texture of the paper, but it's just my hair, and I am under a vent. I should not have thought of that. Don't use a lot of pressure. Always use a light hand because when you apply your solvent, it'll take the textured look away. I know you guys hear me say that 1,000 times, but I have to keep saying it. That's the whole method to this madness. Yeah, I'm the same. I don't want to kill them. If there's a whole bunch of them and they're in the house and that, you sort of just have to get rid of them because, especially in our location, there's just crap loads of spiders everywhere, and they're all along the fence. They find any little inkling of space, and if I keep saving the ones that are getting inside the house, we're just going to end up with way too many, unfortunately. If it would be like a huntsman spider or something, I would never kill them. The black ones, I don't know. I guess I won't kill a huntsman spider because I'm not afraid of picking a huntsman spider up. But the black ones look so freaking intimidating. I won't pick that one up and put it outside. But yeah, it depends. And also I know my dogs are going to eat them, so I sort of don't want too many of them to get out of control outside either. But yeah, I wish I didn't have to have that deciding factor of do I kill them or don't I. But if there's too many, you sort of, I don't know, have to keep control. I apologize to the spider before I kill it. Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna take your life now, but may your spirit live on happily. But, yeah. Yeah, if they're poisonous, we kill them. If they're redbacks, then we kill them for sure. The black ones, I just kill the ones that are inside. If they're outside, I don't fuss too much. But yeah. It's not something you want to experience inside the house, that's for sure. Okay, using my middle cadmium red, number 217. I'm going to sharpen first. Okay. Then Spanish orange, PC1003. I'm just going to cover this entire inner section of the eye here, because that's going to be the lightest color. Bring this color into the surrounding colors. And then use the yellowed orange, PC1002. Okay, let's blend that in and see where we're at, and then we can adjust it accordingly. So I have my zested solvent in a little bottle like this, and I have it on a little thing like this with a paper towel, so that I can dab off any excess onto the little paper towel or tissue paper. So I'm taking a number 2 round Jassard brush, dipping the tip into there, and then dabbing any excess off onto here, and then I'll slowly start blending. Oh, yes, the paper that I'm using is the... Where is it? The Fabriano Artistico watercolor paper. This one. It is 200 GSM or 90 pounds. And it's the hot press paper. Look at that. Free of animal components. Makes any vegan happy. But yep, so that's the paper that I'm using. And yes, this blending process is always the fun part because it really makes the colors come out. And then you can see the reason you don't have to use any pressure. Okay, so that's a good base layer, and now we can start adding a little more. No. I'm actually going to use a little bit of the neon orange, PC1036. And make the orange right here really pop out. Okay. Then I'd like to use a bit of nectar, PC1092, to sort of make this look like a subtle highlight. And then I'll use Burnt Sienna, number 283. I just realized I'm not setting a very good example for other vegans out there. Saying that I killed a spider. Technically, I didn't kill the spider. Vinny killed the spider. With my permission. Okay. So the highlights in the eyes, like the real white highlights, even the real subtle ones. So that's what we could use our white paint marker for, which looks like this. So that's the Uni Posco 0.7mm paint marker. Or we could use the titanium white from Brush and Pencil. Okay, using the dark chrome yellow number 109. And then using dark cadmium orange number 115. I'm using Spanish orange 1003. Okay, and then I'm going to use my black to really darken that pupil. And to really darken under the eyelids. Okay, blend that up. Same thing again using solvent. I'm going to use little dabbing motions so that I don't push the color around too much. That's looking pretty cool. So now I'm going to use my white wax-based pencil to lighten some of the areas up. And again, I'll blend that so the texture disappears. Okay. Now, there seems to be a little bit of a highlight right in the back of the pupil. Cool. Right. And now I'm dying to do it. Usually you're supposed to do this last, but I'm gonna put those teeny little dots in there, or highlights. And I know mine are gonna be a lot bigger than the reference, but I can make them smaller by just scratching off. Where's my etching tool? So using an etching tool, I can lightly scratch off some of the the areas that are too big, because there are such tiny little subtle star-like highlights in the eyes. They're not that big. You see the effect that it has? That looks so cool. Okay. So now we'll move on to the next eye. Hey Alex, the 300 GSM paper is fine too. It's just thicker, that's all. But as long as you can get the smooth and the hot pressed, it's fine. 300 GSM is fine. Oh, and then flip it over to the back. So use the smooth side of the paper. Ah, yeah, you just said that. Alex is asking, can you get the Hannah Mule Cezanne 300 GSM? It's amazing paper. Okay, I'll have to have a look at that. Feeling like I want to add more of a red, so maybe using Poppy Red PC922. I'm going to make this red stand out a bit more. That's better. And then using the Kaput Mortum Violet 263. And I'm going to darken those edges of what looks like a reflection of clouds. Much better. I'm just using whatever's left on my brush. Much better. Okay, moving on to this eye. There are some amazing colors in there. Before I do, I feel like this pupil needs to just be a little bit wider. And I want to use the white to bring out more of a highlight here. Now using the cadmium orange 111, going to fill in most of the eye except for this sort of bluish highlight here. Sorry, I'm coming back into this eye with white. Yes, better. Now using the Spanish orange PC1003. It's one of those that I can't have too sharp because then it just keeps breaking. Going over what I just put down. Using neon orange PC1036. Paying attention to those really nice bright orange areas. Using dark cadmium orange 115. Yep. So I'm literally, when I look at my reference, I'm looking at it, I'm looking down, I'm looking at it, looking down, looking at it, looking down. I'm doing that constantly. Okay, using burnt ochre. I'm not sure what the number is. How many have you on? That's good. Using Caput Mortuum Violet 263. It's a nice dark area on the edge of the eye. Oh, it's going to be fun doing the stars in this eye. Using the burnt ochre. Vinny should be home from night shift any minute now. When he does come home, I may just pop off for 2 minutes to say hello, and then I'll be back. Using the black just to get the pupil emphasized. Okay, there's a little bit of blue, like a blue-gray in the eye. So I'm going to use 50% cool gray, PC 1063. I'll tell him you guys say hello. Okay. So, putting a little bit of this cool gray over the eye over here. That is about all that is required. And then using the burnt umber number 280. Okay, let's blend that in so that we can get a clearer view of where we're at. I'm gonna blend the lighter areas first. What a horrible song. It's got such a high pitch in it. Cool, I think that's a good start. Now to brighten up some areas, so using Spanish Orange PC1003. Then using some of the Neon Orange, PC1036. Using some poppy red. Using dark cadmium orange 115. Using burnt ochre. Then using the Kaput Mortu 263. So anything with a gold band is the Polychromos pencils, which I'm sure you guys know. Okay, let's blend that in. Okay, that's looking cool. Okay, so using my white pencil, I'm going to work on this highlight here. I'm just going to lighten some of the areas up. Okay, I'm going to blend that in. I'm not even going to put solvent on my brush. I'm just going to use whatever excess I've got left on there. You really don't need much solvent on the brush at all. Okay, and then I'm gonna put my little highlighted spots in. Then using my etching tool, I'm just going to make some of them a bit smaller. Nice subtle little stars in the eyes. Cool. Now we'll do the cute little snout, which is very, very light. I'm going to use Light Peach PC 927. And I'm going to block in the whole snout. This is my lightest color. Then I'm going to use cinnamon to indicate the darker areas. Then I'm going to use Pompeian Red 191. Then I'll use Middle Cadmium Red 217. Okay, let's blend that in. Okay, using the cinnamon. Let's create a little more value. What's the time by you guys now? I'm gonna blend that in again. Such a cute little snout. Twenty past 9, 20 past 10. Okay, I'll probably go for about another hour, and then maybe go get 2 or 3 hours of sleep in, and then come back to it. I know you guys will be asleep when I come back to it, but at least I got you for the first 3 hours. I'm going to use a bit of the burnt sienna 283 just in the nostrils. Yeah, Majin's seems to be a night owl. Okay, I'm gonna blend with whatever excess I have left on my brush. Okay. Now I'm going to use a bit of the dark brown. No, not dark brown. I want a purple. This one. I'm going to use a bit of the dark purple PC931. And the dark area of this cute little opening on the mouth I want to put down. Okay. Right, now I'm going to work on the dark areas around the eyes. Under. I think I'm going to use my black cherry in combination with my black pencil. So using black cherry PC1078. All these thin white strands of fur, I'm not going to worry about them now. We're going to use our titanium white to put them in, or we might even use a bit of our white paint marker, but I'd say probably the titanium white. I'm still doing strokes in the direction of the fur. Alex is saying, I'm really curious about how you manage the colored parts in the white fur. It looks just like a fading shadow. Yeah, you probably, where you can see the background merging into the foreground, like over here. Yeah, I'll show you how simple it actually is. Oh, I need to zoom out. Better. If you look at the community page on Patreon, you can see the original of this that Marie posted, and then you can get an idea of the difference. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I just paused for a moment. So the side of this eye over here is sort of going to fade into a purpley sort of cloudy bit. It's so much fun once you have the eyes in, or once you have the eyes drawn, and then you start working on the area surrounding the eyes, then it really starts making it pop. The eyes are my favorite thing to do, and usually I like getting the eyes in first, because then it brings so much into the drawing immediately. Alex says that I love strong contrast, but I have to force myself to make the darks dark. Oh, do you not go dark enough? Usually everyone has the opposite problem. They go too dark. Okay, so there's a section here which goes in like that. Okay, so still using my Black Cherry PC1078. I'm just getting the basics down in the background now and around the eyes. Let's put this back. Vinny's home. I'm just going to say hello to him real quick. So the video is going to have a little buffering thing on it until I'm back. That's just while I pause the stream. But I will try not to take any longer than 5 minutes. So I'll be right back. I'm back. Just had to readjust the chair there. Continuing on with my black cherry, PC 1078. Marie, that was me. The 2 pauses ago. Oh. Oh. It would seem my battery died. Okay, good to go. So the stars and the little fine white hairs and everything, it's just not anything to fuss about now. You can do all of that later. Okay, so on this side, it's like a purpley cloudy area. And this corner is very dark. I'm just going to pause for 1 minute. I'll be right back. Okay. Right. I'm going to use some of the burnt sienna, number 283. I feel very energized again, so I am going to keep going. Let's see how far we can go. We're putting in some of these warmer tones. Okay. Using yellowed orange PC1002. think there's a storm coming. It's extremely cloudy and like those thick grey clouds, and the wind is just picking up like crazy. Using PC922 Poppy Red. Now we have some really nice bright purples and some pinks. So using Process Red PC994. Then using some neon pink PC1038. It's only really on that side. Using indigo blue PC901. Marie's asking, do I prefer summer or winter? I don't know. Winter here is nothing compared to what you guys experience in the UK or the US, so I don't know. I think I'd probably prefer summer. I'd rather deal with extreme heat than extreme cold. Yeah, I just rather deal with the heat. But you know, when it's extreme heat in summer, I'm like, oh, I wish winter's here. And when it's really cold in winter, then I wish for summer. So there's just no pleasing any of us, I don't think. So now I'm gonna add a bit of yellow actually. Adding dark chrome yellow 109. And then adding dark cadmium orange 115. And then adding middle cadmium red 217. Okay, now I'm going to use a tissue. Marie says, yeah, I can't cope with the heat as it gets to 34. Only 34? That's wonderful. Problem is we get only a few weeks of the year that's hot and most houses haven't got air conditioning. Oh no, that is horrible. That is horrible. We've been reaching 38, 39, 40 degrees seems to be the norm now in Australia. So sometimes it even, I think last year went up to 44. Money says, hi Shells, just letting you know that I'm still working on my Kingfisher, nearly finished. I am going to try this for my next drawing, I think. Love your tutorials. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Jamie says, oh my god, 34? Do you mean 34 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius? So if it's 34 degrees Fahrenheit is really cold, I think. Or cool. I made a little triangle out of, I feel like I only pulled out half a piece of tissue paper out of there. So I'm going to use this to blend all this in nice and smooth. Celsius, yeah, 34 Celsius. So, and is that in the UK? Maria, are you in the UK or the US? I thought you were in the US. I think you're in the US. The UK uses Celsius, don't they? Yep, it's 40. Yes, Jamie, I know how you feel. 34 would be lovely. But if you're so used to the cold, then 34 could be pretty hot for you. Okay, so I really love this tissue method, especially when I am trying to fill in a big area quickly and I just want to get the base or the foundation colors down. This is a really great method to use and it gets your whole surface area really smooth. Yeah, okay, so you're in England. Yeah, so I'd imagine 34 is pretty. And because the weather is so damp there, I guess it would be very humid and muggy. Not be comfortable, I'm sure. I don't know how you'd cope here in Australia in summer. You'd be dying. Ooh, that looks so cool. I'm gonna smush some of these colors in. When your tissue starts fluffing out like that, then it's time for a new one. So dipping the tip in, just that little bit. Yeah, so the US uses Fahrenheit and the UK uses what we use, Celsius, and centimeters and meters, not inches and feet. Oh, trying to convert the two drives my mind crazy. Why can't the whole world just use one system? One system. Cool. That looks cool already. Should just leave it like that. Oh yeah, and driving on the other side of the road in the US. I don't know how I'd go with that. Especially when turning. I wouldn't know how to turn. Okay, now we're going to start darkening this up more and more. So I am going to use my black. Since Ziggy's fur is actually black in these areas, it'll be fine if it ends up being really dark. But it's always good when you're using black to use it on top of some other colors. And that just gives it a little more balance and it doesn't seem as flat. Jamie is asking, do you still doubt yourself as an artist? Do you ever get a commission and worry you won't be able to do it justice? I stopped thinking like that a long time ago. I just do what I can and draw it the best I can. And I always give the person who's commissioning me to do a drawing the option of deciding during the progress of the work, as I send work in progress photos to the person, if they're not satisfied with something, they have to tell me during the process of it. And in the end, if they don't like the end result, then they don't have to pay for it. So it's just one of those things. I don't let myself linger on that, and I always make sure that I enjoy the process. And I know that the more I draw, the better I'll get at something. So sometimes I have had the odd commission where it did not feel like it worked out for me, but the person commissioning me would still be extremely happy. So usually it's quite often you that doubts yourself or critiques yourself way worse than the person commissioning you. But then again, every once in a while you get someone who will commission you and they will be so critical of every detail, and that can put you in a very uncomfortable position, so you feel like it will never be good enough. And yeah, when you reach situations like that, you just have to make yourself realize you're doing the best that you can. And the person commissioning you must realize that you're doing the best that you can. If they're not satisfied with it, then they just don't get it. That's all. It's just one of those things. You can't please everybody in this world. It doesn't mean you should put yourself back for it or make yourself feel like you aren't capable. So no, I don't doubt myself anymore. I used to. Yes, Jamie, that's funny. We drive on the right side of the road, which happens to be the left side of the road. Yep. I can't imagine driving on the right side. You always keep to the left. Keep to the left. I'd be a nightmare driving on the opposite side of the road. Far out. I don't know if any of you have ever visited Israel before, but Vinny and I went to Israel, I think 3 years ago, and they also drive on the opposite side of the road. But I have never seen such bad driving before. It is scary driving on those roads. Nobody has any consideration for any of the other drivers. And you know, it's so funny because 90% of the cars that you see have a dent in it somewhere. So it's like they treat their cars like it's bound to get dented, and they're not fussed about it. They just need to get where they need to get, and if they're going to bump into somebody, then too bad. That's how it feels like it is when you drive there. And the traffic lights, I don't understand the traffic lights. They're very weird. I don't understand how to turn. Their lights are very, yeah, I don't know. Lucky I didn't drive. Benny just did all the driving. He loved it. He liked the challenge, but me, I'd be hopeless. Yeah, no, I can't see myself driving in London. I'd say it's probably just as bad. Too many people. It's not like the country so much. It's quiet, never any traffic. It's lovely over here. It depends on who you are. A lot of people love the extreme busyness and the hustle and bustle. Other people like the quiet. I love the quiet. Hey, if you guys haven't already, because you're already patrons, make sure to enter in the competition, the 25 drawings of you competition. Because you automatically qualify because you're already a patron. So you can send any pictures as long as they're your own photos. So it can be of you, a family member, a pet, or plant. So make sure to enter. Yes, Marie, you have. Marie's entered. The rest of you need to enter. I love the picture of your daughter, Marie. Like, I feel like I want to turn her into a pretty little elf. Or fairy. Marie, that's so funny. I think I've got 7 entrants so far. So 7 out of 25. I mean, will definitely be one of your picks if I don't get many more. An elf. Okay. If hers comes up, I'll turn her into an elf. So I have this app on my phone. It's a randomizer app. And these are some of the names that I've already entered. And then I will just click randomize. And a name will come up. And then that's how I would be picking the names on the days. And then the only unfortunate thing is that I have to go and prep every entrance photo or be ahead of time for in case their name gets picked, so that I already have something I can use. So I'm secretly hoping that I don't get like 100 entrants, because then I'm gonna have to pick their names ahead of the day that I'm actually doing it. It's more fun picking the name live than it is picking ahead of time. So we'll see. Yes, Alex, I got yours. I think it was your cat, was it? I'm pretty sure your name was on there. So yes, I got Alex. Yeah. So you can send it to my Facebook inbox, or you could share it on the Patreon community page if you want it, and just let me know that you're entering. Or you can email it to me, so whichever is going to be easier for you. I don't care. A pixie. Let's see. Oh, Ziggy is starting to look so cute. Do any of you guys have any questions about the new reward tiers and stuff, or is there anything you want to know about the changes on Patreon, or is everyone pretty comfortable and you get the gist of it? Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I am willing to put the time into it. The only thing, so I'm able to do it because I'm abducting my boyfriend's computer, because he's got a proper gaming computer, so his computer's able to keep up with the software and that I use for editing, and it's really fast. So at least I'm able to use his until I get to the point where I can buy my own. Because just imagine you are sitting in front of your Mac computer and you open your editing program, and you've got, so my Canon camera records for 12 minutes at a time, and then I've got about 40 or 50 or 60 little video clips that I need to put together into one tutorial or one time lapse, and it takes me about 2 minutes to just input or load one of those video clips. I drag it in, and then I have to wait until it loads, and then I drag the next one in, and if I try and do a bulk upload and just drag them all in, then the whole system just crashes. And it's editing, when it's supposed to only take me about an hour, because I can do it fast, but if the computer can't, then an hour's work ends up taking me 4, 5, 6 hours to do, and I just can't do that. That's why I've been doing so many live streams, because I don't have to edit any of this. I can just post it straight after. But with the other videos, I'm just going to use his computer. Too bad for him, he won't be able to to game for a little bit, but that's alright. I'll try and do the bulk of all the editing stuff while he's at work, so that I don't truly abduct it permanently. But and then, yeah, so all the extra work into Patreon should hopefully help me reach my goal, and then I can finally get a new computer. Vinny's been doing so much research for me. He's been so sweet. So he's actually going to build one for me, which is going to be cheaper than me buying one. And he's building it to what I wanted to do. So he built his own computer, so he knows what he's doing, and it works amazing. So I would love to have a Mac again, a new Mac, because I just love Mac, but I'm just better off getting a built Windows machine, and it will work just as well. I know how to use Mac, and the software I use is compatible with Mac and Windows, so I should just go that route. So yeah, he's already got a whole list compiled in that, and it's going to cost almost 3,000, hopefully a little bit less than 3,000, but it beats paying almost 5,000 for a brand new Mac computer. So we'll get there. And then at least this little laptop I'm using, Vinny updated the hard drive and that on that, so that can just keep up with the live streams. But there's no way this laptop will be able to do the editing. So there's not enough space on it. You never know how expensive things can get, or with equipment and software and that, until you start doing something like this, and then you start to realize, well, I need that, I need that, I need that. If you want to do good quality video content, you need good equipment, unfortunately. But Patreon helped me get a lot of everything that I got. I got my video camera, I've got lighting, I've got a microphone, I've got all the art supplies, and that was all because of Patreon. So it's been amazing, and I'd be happy to put all my effort into it. And nothing beats this sort of interaction. I really like the interaction with everybody. And I love to see everybody else's interaction with one another too. So that's what it's about. Community and learning how to all draw together. Marie says, good idea. You get a lot more for your buck with other PCs. And you can upgrade easier too. That's right. I can upgrade on things and parts. Thanks, Alex. Good night. Sweet dreams. Thank you for joining us. So thanks, Charles, for the great funny evening. Hope there are no spiders. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, when I'm done here, I'm gonna have a snooze, and then when I wake up, I'm just gonna clean this entire house. Good night, Alex. Okay, Marie. Well, since you guys are all going, I'm gonna go as well, and then I'll come back on a little bit later. So I'm glad we got this far. So that was, how long did that take? 5, 6, 7, 8, 3.5 hours to get us this far. That includes the sketching, which ended up taking about an hour. But yes, so good night to all of you guys. And yeah, Marie, I bet it's like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning already. So have a good sleep, everybody, and I will be back on later. I may not see most of you again, but yeah, I'll be back on, and you guys can watch the stream whenever you want. So for those that haven't entered into the competition, do that soon, and I'll see you guys in a little while.